Hello everyone, my name is Attilah Agilandira. Today, I will explain about international trade. Let's get started. Imagine a world wide without international trade. No coffee from Brazil in European cafe, no Japanese cars on Indonesian roads, and no Korean smartphones in your hands right now. Hard to imagine, isn't it? In reality, international trade has become the lifeblood of the global economy, connecting nations, cultures, and people through an intricate web of interdependence. In simple terms, international trade refers to the exchange of goods and services across national borders. But behind that simple definition lies a deep economic foundation. One of the most influential ideas comes from David Ricardo's theory of comparative advantage, introduced in 19th century. Ricardo explained that countries should specialize in producing goods where they have a comparative efficiency advantage and trade with others to obtain what they lack. For example, Indonesia excels at producing coffee thanks to its tropical climate and fertile soil, while Japan leads in technology due to its skilled workforce. By trading, both nations benefit. Indonesia gets advanced technology and Japan enjoys world-class coffee. This is the essence of modern international trade, global specialization and efficiency. The benefits of international trade are profound. First, it increases production efficiency by allowing countries to focus on what they do best. Second, it expands market and raises national income. Products that once sold only domestically can now reach consumers worldwide, boosting export and creating jobs. Third, it encourages technology transfers and innovation, as trade opens access to the new knowledge, ideas, and techniques from abroad. However, there's another side to the story. Global trade also creates economic inequality, since not all nations have the same competitive capacity. Developed countries often gain more while developing nations remain dependent on exporting raw material with low added value. That's why effective trade policy must go hand in hand with strong industrial development at home. Now, let's look at how international trade has evolved in the digital age. In the past, cross-border trade required huge capital, complex logistic, and long bureaucratic process. But today, with the rise of e-commerce and digital platforms, almost anyone can become part of global trade. Platforms like Alibaba, Amazon, Shopee, and Tokopedia have revolutionized how the world does business. Transactions that once took weeks now happen in seconds. A batik artisan from Indonesia can sell products to buyers in Europe, while a tea seller in China can ship orders directly to the United States, all without owning a physical store abroad. This is what we call digital globalization, a new form of international trade powered by information technology, digital payment system, and global logistic networks. In today's context, e-commerce acts as the driving engine of modern international trade. There are two major dimensions. First, business to consumer or B2C, where individuals can directly buy goods from abroad through online marketplace. Second, business to business or B2B, enabling small and medium enterprises to reach global partners efficiently. The results are transformative. First, lower transaction costs. Second, shorter supply chains. Third, more transparent pricing. And fourth, a more inclusive global market. According to the World Trade Organization, cross-border e-commerce now accounts for over 20% of total global trade, and that number keeps rising each year. This means the future of international trade is no longer defined by ships and ports, but by internet speeds and digital algorithms. Of course, with great opportunities come great challenges. Digital-based global trade faces several key issues. First, regulatory difference between countries, especially concerning digital tax, data protection, and intellectual property rights. Second, the digital divide, where many developing nations lack due to limited internet access, logistics, and digital literacy. Third, cybersecurity threats, which can undermine consumer trust and disrupt global trade system. If in the past a country's economic power was measured by how many ships or ports it had, today it measured by how quickly it can adapt to digital trade. Nations that successfully combine traditional advantage like natural resources or manufacturing with digital innovation and connectivity will lead the next era of global economy. And for the younger generation, this is a tremendous opportunity. You don't need to be a billionaire to trade across borders. With creativity, technology, and internet access, you can bring local products to the world stage. Ultimately, international trade and e-commerce are not just about export and imports. They are about human connection, about how ideas, cultures, and values move across borders to shape a more integrated world. Because in today's era of globalization, trade is more than an economic activity. It's a bridge to a connected and collaborative future. That concludes my video. I hope what I have explained is useful. Thank you.